Hello everybody, GGC Anime here, and today we are going to be reviewing Dr. Stone Ryusui, or the Dr. Stone special episode that connects Season 2 to Season 3. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just hop right into this. So, what is Dr. Stone Ryusui? Basically, it follows the story of Senku, who now with his team are starting to build a ship to sail off to find out where the petrification beam was coming from and like what caused it. They were trying to figure out everything about that, and then they realized they needed a captain. So what do? They find one of the greatest captains around, this guy named Ryusui, who they spend time getting to know as they try their best to work hard to get what they need in order to make this boat run. And that is basically a majority of the special as we slowly build up towards building the ship. And we have a few other little things sprinkled in there that add to the whole special, that such as a few other things that I'll talk about in the spoiler section maybe. It really depends, but yeah, basically the whole special takes place right up to Season 2. They're still building the ship, they're getting ready to sail off to go find what the cause of the petrification beam was. So yeah. That is not the best summary, but we're just gonna have to roll with it, so yeah. In terms of spoiler-free thoughts, Ryusui is actually a really interesting character so far. We haven't really seen enough of him to really get a full idea of what to expect, but from what I have seen of him, I like him. He seems like a very interesting addition to the cast, and I'm cool with adding him onto the team. He seems like a very interesting person. And most of the special is actually just a lot of fun. It reminded me a lot of Dr. Stone Season 1, where I was actually finding myself very enthralled, and I found myself really enjoying the special so much that it literally blew by in the blink of an eye. Like, I did not realize how quickly this special went by. It's like a 50-minute special, and I did not realize how quickly those 50 minutes would go, and it makes me a bit upset that I'm gonna have to wait a bit of time before Season 3 is finished. So, but I am excited that we have a Season 3. That's cool. I'm looking forward to checking that out in the future. But yeah, this special definitely reminded me of why I really like Dr. Stone, and I honestly really enjoyed it. It's not perfect. There are moments in this I was just like, wait, why are we doing this? What's the point of this? But for the most part, I found myself thoroughly enjoying it, and overall, Ryusui is just such an enjoyable special that really does a good job connecting Season 2 to whatever's going to happen in Season 3, which I'm also very much looking forward to seeing how things turn out there. So yeah. And without going into spoilers, I will have to say that my favorite character of this special, ironically enough, is probably Ryusui, who just has so much more of a role in this little special that really elevates her to a absolutely amazing character, and I really enjoyed it, which I can talk about more of that in the spoiler section. But definitely she stood out as probably my favorite character in this special. Like Ryusui, even though he was technically meant to be the focus of what brought this whole thing together, it was still, I still found Ryusui to be probably the most enjoyable part of this whole special, and she definitely brought out a lot of what made me really enjoy it. But yeah, that's all I can really say without spoiling anything, so we're just gonna hop into the spoiler section now. Here is a timestamp to when the spoilers end. If you have seen this special, I'd recommend sticking around to hear my thoughts, but if you haven't, you should skip to the end so you don't get spoilers. But if you have seen it, go ahead and stick around to hear my thoughts. So yeah, I'm gonna catch up in 5, we're gonna enter the spoiler section. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what I mean when I say Ryusui was definitely the highlight of this special, it's because of just everything she does. How she ends up leading the group to helping create this hot air balloon for Senku, and I found her to be very enjoyable, seeing her energy, especially with how she's just trying so hard to do things, and it's just, she just had so much more expression. Since she started to have a lot more expression in Season 2 compared to Season 1, where she didn't really have too much expression. She just seemed like that kind of generic female character. But then as the seasons have gone on, we see a lot more to her character, which I've really liked, and is definitely putting her up there as one of my favorite characters, because just seeing everything that she does and everything she's trying to accomplish in order to help Senku rebuild civilization is just so good and so funny. And I just think to like this one moment where she's asking Senku to get this item for her, and he said, all right, we can make you that item. And then he ends up making something even better, and he's like, sorry, we couldn't make something even better. We were on a very tight schedule. And she's just like, no, this is fine. This is even better than fine. It made me really like how Ryusui was handled in this special, since she was definitely just the highlight for me because she was just so funny, so entertaining to watch, and definitely made things very funny. Although I do question why they had a fashion show in the middle. I get why they did it, but at the same time I don't get it because like they made clothes basically. They just made clothes to sell to people, you know, because Ryusui ended up creating a form of currency, and people are using that currency as they're trying to get their hands on oil and stuff to power the boat. And I get why it was there, but it was such a strange addition. Like that, like when it happened, all I could think was, wait, why are we doing this? I didn't get it at all. But I also, at the same time, I understand it. I just don't fully get it because it took me a minute to wrap my head around it. But yeah, it was still an enjoyable little scene. But overall, I don't know how I feel about it. It's just a very mixed scene. But moving past Yuzuriha for now with all of her time to shine, I'd also like to talk about the new character, Ryusui, who honestly, just from his overconfidence and the way he handles everything, is already a hilarious character, especially when Gen ends up manipulating him into guiding the boat for free instead of using the new currency he made. It's so funny how Gen is able to easily manipulate him into doing what he wants, and it does show, this whole special shows just how much of a true trickster that Gen is. It reminds me of why he's probably one of my top favorite characters in Dr. Stone. It was so entertaining seeing how Ryusui interacted with all the main characters, especially with like his small little rivalry with Chrome for a little bit that wasn't like too overly important since it wasn't really added on until near the end of the special, but it was still enjoyable. Just seeing all these ways that people interacted with him was very entertaining, from how he kind of respects Senku for being able to do all the science stuff, to how much he thinks of Chrome as a lesser scientist or lesser smart person because he doesn't understand all the stuff through the air or sea like Ryusui does, but Chrome has his understanding of the ground. It's just seeing all these interactions between these characters is just so much fun, and it reminded me, once again, as I said before, why I enjoyed Dr. Stone so much. And I really liked that this special didn't have them automatically finishing the boat by the end. It just ends with them getting the blimp back to the village they had been residing in before that, and after they had arrived, that was just where the special ends. They haven't finished building the boat yet. If I have to guess, it'll probably be resolved in Season 3. They're more than likely, sometime in Season 3, going to finish the boat fairly early on. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know, but I do like the fact that this wasn't just like a one and done, oh yeah, we built the boat thing. Like, there's still a lot of developments happening, and I really do appreciate that. And I'm definitely finding myself enjoying it. And then there's the final big scene where, in order to represent a storm, they had the storm when Senku, Ryusui, and Chrome were like flying towards the storm, and they made it to look like the form of a dragon or some kind of monster, and it was so interesting seeing how they flew through it all. I really liked that. I thought it was a very clever way to kind of describe a storm, and seeing them just maneuver through it with their hot air balloon, it was so entertaining. I definitely enjoyed myself, and overall this special was just an absolute blast to watch. All the character interactions were just as good as the rest of the show. I very much found myself enjoying it, and Ryusui is a great addition to the cast. And on a side note, I am so happy they made like a new cover version of Good Morning World, even though it's the same singers, for the opening for this special, because Good Morning World is personally my favorite opening from Dr. Stone. I do think the second and third opening are really good, but Good Morning World still fits as like my favorite opening, and that's why I'm so happy they like recovered it here. It was really good. I really liked how it sounded, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Season 3 now, and once it finishes, I'll make sure to review it, because honestly, I just really like Dr. Stone. It's one of those shows that, despite the fact it's not full of like massive death or destruction, like stuff like Attack on Titan and such, it still has its moments that really make you think, wow, these are pretty interesting and crazy situations, and I just found myself so enthralled by them, and I really enjoyed this special. It was so much fun, and I'm just hyped for Season 3 when I finally sit down and watch it. So yeah, that's all I can really say. So we're at the conclusion of this video, and what are my final thoughts? I thoroughly enjoyed myself. It wasn't perfect, but overall, I had a very good time and thoroughly enjoyed myself. Again, it wasn't perfect, which is why I can't say it's like a perfect 10 out of 10 amazing, oh my gosh, would recommend to everybody type special, but it's very Dr. Stone. It fits the vibe of Dr. Stone, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself while watching, and it gave me what I wanted. It gave me more Dr. Stone. It made me want to see what happens to these characters. It made me want to see more, and it gets me very excited for when season 3 finishes up, since I'm pretty sure it's airing right now, so I just gotta wait until the episodes are done, and then I can sit down and watch that too, since honestly, as I mentioned before, I really like Dr. Stone. It's a really fun anime, and I'm very much looking forward to when season 3 finishes and I can just sit down and watch it. So yeah, that's why I'd have to give Dr. Stone Ryusui 8 out of 10. Very enjoyable. There are moments, as I mentioned, that are kind of iffy, that I question a little bit, but not too much. I still enjoyed myself. And overall, I definitely think that it is a very enjoyable addition to the Dr. Stone series, as it was just a lot of fun. I liked it a lot, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what further adventures are for Senku, Gen, and all the other characters, along with their newest recruit, Ryusui, as we find out what the secret behind the petrification beam was. So, yeah, it was very enjoyable. I had a good time, and I'm very curious what is going to happen next. I have no clue, and I'm just excited. I'm very much looking forward to seeing where things go, since this is probably the first time a show about science has kept me invested, and I really want to see what happens. Like, I still remember that time I watched this other show called Science Fell in Love, and I tried to prove it, and I couldn't sit through. I'm sure some other people like it, but I personally could not sit through. And yet Senku manages to make science a topic I'm normally not that interested in super interesting and fascinating, and just I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the series has next. And yeah, that's all I really have to say, so thank you all for watching. If you're new to the JGC Anime channel, don't forget to subscribe. I was looking at new anime fans to the channel, and I will see you all around. Peace!